let's talk about authenticity, because it's going round and round. And I'm going to leave a bunch of videos down below for everyone to kind of peruse through, because I have been taking all of this stuff in, things I agree with, things I don't agree with. I'm going to leave a bunch of different videos down below. Please click through. What do you mean by authentic? And what authenticity is on YouTube and on Instagram and on all these platforms. Like, what does that mean? What does that entail? Because I think that's getting missed a little bit. So one, let's operate with like Google. Like, what is the definition of authentic? An undisputed origin, genuine, made or done in the traditional or original way, or in a way that is faithfully resembles an original, based on fact, accurate, reliable. You can't really tell if someone is being authentic enough in certain constraints of the internet because we can't see the rest of their life. You don't know if they're being authentic because you don't see the behind the scenes. I also think there is another level of authentic that people are talking about. When people are bringing up which is who they seem that are truly authentic, people who they hold up to high esteem. What I'm hearing and what I'm realizing is coming up a lot is this desire for people to stop talking about the basics. You are asking people to be authentic, and really you're asking to see into someone's very personal, private, sometimes spiritual essence. Like, you want them to reveal their depths to you. And I think that is a wonderful thing to ask. I'm all for it. I try to do it regularly on my channel. I like to share my inner goings of the astral. I like to share my inner thoughts. I like to share when I'm having a hard time, when I'm not, along with some of the more, I guess what some people would consider shallow topics, like, hey, I rearranged my room today. I like to do a mix of both, but that is still a big ask. It's a good ask. I think more people should be sharing the depths of themselves. I think as a world in general, we're kind of getting to that point, right? I see cultures searching for more. A lot of, I think, the upheaval where a lot of people are coming to witchcraft and, you know, a lot of questioning and a lot of this, even to the point in politics, the fake news and all of this, is because people are questioning more. They are seeking more. They are not taking things at face value. So the pursuit for a deeper understanding of a topic or a person is great, but that's still a big ask to ask of somebody. I think to look at some of people are complaining about certain Instagram things and certain channels, or not even, I would say, complaining. I think they're making observations. Like, it's not so much a direct attack. Some people are directly attacking, and I think that's bullshit, but a lot of people are just making very clear observations that, hey, this person is only doing the surface layer, right? They're only talking about the basics. They're only talking about things that are, you know, a little easier for someone entirely from the outside to digest. These are very palatable things they're talking about. That type of content is always necessary, right? Especially if more and more people are flooding in. I needed that content. I needed in the beginning of my path. I needed that beginner level stuff because I was a beginner. I distinctly remember I was diving into like the witch hashtag on YouTube and searching through things, and I was finding people like Joey Morris and Kellyanne Maddox and all these amazing witches who do in-depth great work, and I was not ready for that. I was nowhere near there. I barely could take on the word witch at this point, and I just wanted some more like surface level things. And I remember searching through their channels a bit and seeing the topics that they were discussing and feeling very overwhelmed and being like, I don't, that's so much to dive into, and I'm already upheaving my entire like thinking structure and spiritual content by trying to see if witchcraft is the thing I'm going for now, and that in itself is terrifying. So having to then talk about shadow work and all this in-depth stuff like that, that was a big leap for me, and I had to click off immediately. I couldn't subscribe right away. Even if I was interested, even if it did pique something in me, I couldn't click on those videos right away, right? I needed something more palatable. I needed something more entry level, more basic, more what some people would consider shallow aspects of the craft, because that's where I was in my journey. That's what I needed. And even many times I still go back to a lot of those videos or watch other videos, because I think reaffirming the basics and reaffirming that starter level stuff is great, because you always get new perspectives even from that. It's not all leveled up and now you're past the basics. I think you can re-dive into that a lot. So seeing a channel that has nothing but basic stuff on it really worked well for me as an entry level. And I didn't see those channels as something inauthentic. I saw those channels as being wonderful enough to understand that I was a beginner and they were making it palatable for me. Like, that was my perspective that I took on it. And seeing the amount of views that those videos got it really made me feel a lot better, because it proved to me that I'm not the only person seeking this information. I'm not living in my little bubble here in the desert of Arizona, surrounded by people who don't think the way I do, because I hadn't explored metaphysical shops in my area yet, because that was scary. I hadn't tried to reach out to more spiritual people yet. I literally was just searching on the internet, because it was the only thing that felt safe at the time during my exploration, and seeing that so many people had viewed a "how do you know if you're a witch" video made me feel so much better, because okay, I'm watching this and other people are watching this too. And that allowed me to slowly but surely gain information. There is authentic curiosity in these starter level videos. There is a real authentic part of a journey, one that I hold very high and dear to me as part of my personal path. And they mean something, they're important. And then with the idea of asking someone to go deeper, in a sense, again, like I said, I think that's great. I think there should be more channels and more people doing that. I think that's really, we should be looking for more genuine, deep connections with people on all platforms. But I recognize that's a big ask, and that is entirely up to the individual to decide. I've seen people talk about wanting to hear more in depth about a person's craft, and the person is only doing the beginning and the basic stuff. They're only doing that entry-level stuff on their channel, right? Or on their Instagram, they're only talking about certain things, or things always look a certain way and they're certain pretty, and the captions never talk about their in-depth craft. They're like, these things keep popping up, and all I keep thinking is, it's like, but they're not choosing to share that. Maybe that's more personal. Maybe that, like, when you're asking for people to be more authentic by being, like, showing more of themselves, you are asking for a window into their private spirituality. And I think we need to recognize that. I think we need to recognize that that is a big ask. Even if it is a great ask, if it is a genuine ask, it is a big ask. And a person has a full right to say no. A person has a full right to curate their channel how they wish. A person has a full right to only talk about unboxings and, you know, the basics of witchcraft and how they approach those basics, and rehash a lot of the things over and over and over again. They have full right to do that, and they have a full right to not expose any part of their craft or their spirituality that they don't want to. I think sometimes that's getting overlooked when we talk about authenticity a bit, like, right? Like, it's so fantastic that we have people like Joey Morris and Chris Ashburn and Avalon and all these people who are so open to showing the more nitty and gritty and raw sides of their craft. They're talking about dumping, you know, their moon blood on the forest floor, and talking about, you know, the deep shadow work and the weird shadows they have to go through. These are people who are just being like, screw it, I'm on today because something was on my mind and I'm going to talk about it. That is so fantastic, and that is a great gift given to the YouTube community, and it is helped me so much in my journey. But I worry at times when I see people really getting after people who they consider aesthetic witches, fake witches, inauthentic witches. You can't know their authenticity, and if they are not willing to share their private spirituality, that they have every right to do that. You have every right not to watch it. You have every right not to view it. We can talk about the outside viewpoints of that, like, why are the basic stuff so big right now? And that's because there's a huge amount of new people coming to the craft, right? Like, it's natural that there weren't as many people interested in the craft before, so there's not that many people who are at the level yet to dive deep into certain topics. There's not as many people who are at the level yet to take on things like shadow work and working with in-depth spells and protection and really deep astral work. There are people who don't have, you know, that's not available to them yet. They can't tap into that. They can't even think about going that deep into their journey and analyzing themselves to that extent and how the craft has helped them and all of that, because they're not there yet, right? They're still at the beginning, they're still at the basics. As those basic videos gain more and more views, it's gonna be open up to even more people who maybe weren't even searching for witchcraft, but suddenly it just popped up in their feed, and now they're like, huh, that's intriguing. And they're gonna click and click and click and click because the curiosity is there, and the beginner stuff is always more palatable. I think that's what really gets me, is you can't know if someone's authentic or not. And I think I had to check myself a little bit on my definition of authentic, because when I look at certain Instagram posts and I see how curated they are and how beautiful they are, and recognizing in myself how much I sometimes put into certain Instagram posts where it's like, yeah, no, I have a little photo shoot with myself. And part of that was because I was honoring a bit of myself with appreciating my image, forcing myself to appreciate my image more now that I have made certain, I've climbed certain hills mentally with the appreciation of my body and, you know, seeing it better in a different way. So part of that was, okay, you're gonna do a photo shoot with yourself now. You're going to, you know, show yourself being playful and fun, and I specifically did it without any makeup on, so I would be like, okay, we're gonna appreciate the face for what it is. And then also knowing that that doesn't mean that I'm never gonna wear makeup again. Like, I had a bit of a thing with that, and then I posted a lot of those photos on Instagram recently. If you follow me on Instagram, it's all the photos where it's me in a long hair, and I'm just wearing like a black bralette, and I'm kind of like just in my little like front garden area. Like, all those photos are from that photo shoot. So it's like, I can recognize the amount of effort that went into that, and how that wasn't just me like chilling in my garden having fun. It's like, no, I had a tripod, I had to like find my poses, I had to like, you know, think through what I was doing with that. Like, that did take a lot of effort, but I don't know if that effort is inauthentic. I don't think those two go together. It was authentic, right? Like, it wasn't me just chilling and whatever, and it wasn't, and in no time in my descriptions did I say just chilling in the blah blah blah, you know. Like, I was like talking about how I'm using Self-Love September as a way to look into stuff. I was talking about all of these, you know, certain body issues I've dealt with. I was talking about realigning more with earth, and part of that was like, I wanted to do a photo shoot in the garden to kind of talk about how I am leaning into earth energies right now. Like, that is a thing, that stagnation, that foundation, that like grounding thing is a big part of my practice at the moment. So I also wanted to reflect that in the photos. And I think that is something that gets missed a bit. Like, effort towards something that you may view as shallow is not necessarily inauthentic, and actually the amount of effort in some respects shows a lot more forethought to me personally, and it shows even more authenticity in a sense, because that person they had to try really hard to get that photo. And so I take every aspect of that photo and I analyze, why do they do that, right? Like, why is it that someone has a tarot deck next to bones, next to oils for a shop thing to show, you know? And like, if you look into the oil and what they're talking about, a lot of times what that oil is focused on is all the things that are kind of in that. I think about people who, even if they're doing more playful fashion-y shoots, like, what was it? What were they trying to embody in that moment? They're embodying that playful inner child almost aspect of the summer, and you know what they're leaning into energy wise for the summertime. I see it in the clothes they wear, I see it in the makeup they're choosing, I see it in these things. Like, I see a very authentic exploration of something reflected in basically a piece of art, right? Like, Instagram, a photo is a piece of art, a video is a piece of art. Sometimes they're really basic, and I think they're in such high proliferation with social media now that we forget that, but they're pieces of art, and they can be very honest expressions of somebody. So I just want to come in here and talk about that a bit, talk about some of the things that I'm noticing, and I guess really round back on the fact that we don't entirely know if anyone's being authentic. And two, if you find yourself asking, I would like to see more authentic witches on YouTube, and if that aligns with, I wish people would show me more of their private craft, to question that a bit, because I realized there was a time where I was hitting that a lot. I was thinking, oh god, I really wish there's more people who were, you know, talk about shadow work or whatever. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm asking someone to like talk about their shadows. I'm asking people, I am inquiring for people to reveal the parts of themselves that they don't like very much. That's hard. That's a big ask. That is not something small for someone to reveal, especially on a public platform. Open for all of the wonderful support or other things that they could do, but also ridicule. You're opening up for ridicule. Like, I'm finding myself questioning and making snap judgments. And then when I sit there and really pick apart what I want to see, what I want to experience from other people's channels and Instagram posts and, you know, Facebook posts and blog posts, when I really dive deep into, well, what do I want to see and what that would mean for the person writing that, I am finding myself checking myself a lot. That is someone opening their heart, their private spirituality, the struggles, the trials of their life, the real big shit they've gone into. And I'm not entitled to that information. I'm not. I am very much gifted that information by the people who are willing to provide it, willing to share their experiences so that I may resonate with them better, or I may grow myself from them sharing it. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to bring up about the whole authenticity conversation, because it worries me a bit when there is a little bit of the throwing the baby out with the bathwater starting to happen, right? When everyone goes into these like rah video moments and they're all a lot of rants, or like there's a reason for objection. There's a reason people are noticing things wrong within culture and stuff in general and in mass, and people should call things out, but we shouldn't just take that surface call out. Like, let's all dive a little bit deeper, I guess. I don't know. Ooh. Anyway, I make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you agree, if you disagree, all of that, comment down below. Discussions are great. And that is the one thing that I think gets overhauled a bit in the community, where everyone's making reaction videos, and sometimes we were talking, and sometimes we're not, but I love the idea of video responses and seeing some video responses, because overall the best thing about the witchy community is we are not afraid of a discussion. We are no problem, let's talk about it, let's discuss it, let's dive in deep with this, because that's what's great. I love that. I love that we all want to peel back the layers of everything. So make a video response to me, don't, comment down below, like, dislike, I don't care, all of it. Just if you have something to say, say it. And I will see you guys next time.